visible. Hare Krishna. Can someone please write in the chat window if I am audible and visible? Okay, thank you, Pankaja Lakshmi and Ramesh and Janani. Thank you. Hare Krishna and welcome to all of you for this session of Chaitanya Charitamrta. Today the setup is a little different. The technical team is not here and I'm on all my own. So hope we can do it well. So let's begin our Chaitanya Charitamrta with reciting Mangalacharan. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padkamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate. Jai तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये. वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitinamine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yatkrupatamaham vande Shri Gurun Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. All glories to Lord Chaitanya, all glories to Lord Nityananda, and all glories to Advaita Chandra. All glories to all the devotees of Lord Chaitanya. So seeking the blessings of Lord Caitanya Mahāprabhu, Lord Nityananda Prabhu, Advaita Acharya, and all the devotees, we begin our this session of Chaitanya Charitamrta, Madhya Lila, chapter 14, performance of the Vrindavan pastimes. So we did Rath Yatra with Chaitanya Mahāprabhu. We were dancing in ecstasy. We were seeing there were certain arguments and discussions going on. Last session was very interesting where we saw the position of Lakshmi Devi, the opulence of Lakshmi Devi, and the position of Sri Dham Vrindavan, and how Vrindavan is superior to all the other places in the cosmic creation. So now today, proceeding further in this chapter, and Krishna willing, we will be completing this chapter today. So verse number 229 to 243, the ecstasy of Lord Chaitanya, and verse 244 to 257, Jagannath's silk robes break during the return Pandu Vijay. So let's begin here, the section which talks about the ecstasy of Lord Chaitanya. Shuni prema veshe nritya kore Srinivasa Kakshatali bajai kore atta attahasa. Srivas Thakur then began to dance in ecstatic love. He vibrated sounds by slapping his armpits with the palms of his hands, and he laughed very loudly. So he was creating the sound. So instead of clapping like this, he was putting these hands under his armpits, and he was creating that sound. And they were all laughing. They were all so ecstatic and happy, and they were all laughing there. राधारा शुद्ध रस प्रभु आवेशेषु नीला से रस वेशे प्रभु नृत्य आरंभीला. Thus, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard these discussions about the pure transcendental mellow of Srimati Radharani. Absorbed in transcendental ecstasy, the Lord began to dance. So the Lord has heard, we were hearing in the last session some portions of it, about the qualities of the Supreme Lord Krishna and about the qualities, the transcendental qualities of Srimati Radharani. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he heard that, his heart was also full of ecstasy and he began to dance. Rasavesh Prabhur Nritya Swarupera Gana Bala Bala Bali Prabhu Pate Nij Kana. While Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was dancing in ecstatic love, and Swarup Damodar was singing, the Lord said, "Go on singing, go on singing." The Lord then extended his own ears. Vraj ras geeta shuni prema utha leela Purushottam grama prabhu preme bhasaila. Thus, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's ecstatic love was awakened by hearing the songs of Vrindavan. In this way, he inundated Purushottam Jagannath Puri with love of Godhead. So this is how actually Jagannath Puri had become Vrindavan, because they were discussing the pastimes of Vrindavan. They were all into the mood of Vrindavan and they were in ecstasy of Vrindavan. So actually Jagannath Puri was full of love of Vrindavan. I'm sure we are live at YouTube also. Can Niti Kishori confirm? Are we live on YouTube? Because I have not turned it on. Can someone, okay, let me check. Just a minute. लक्ष्मी देवी यथा काले गेला निज घरा प्रभु नृत्य करे हईला तृतीया प्रहरा. Finally, the goddess of fortune returned to her apartment. In due course of time, as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was dancing, afternoon arrived. So Lakshmi Devi also went back to her place. Chari sampradaya gana kari bahu shanta hoila Mahaprabhur prema vesha dviguna badila. After much singing, all four Sankirtan parties grew fatigued, but Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's ecstatic love increased twofold. So though all the others were feeling exhausted and tired, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his love, it is described that it increased, it doubled. So everybody was tired because from morning it has become afternoon and they were all tired, but Mahaprabhu was completely absorbed in ecstasy. Radha prema veshe prabhu hoila sei murti Nityananda dure dekhi korilena stuti. Radha prema veshe prabhu hoila sei murti. So absorbed in the loving devotional mood of Srimati Radharani. What has happened to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Hoila sei murti. He actually appeared in that very form. So now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has taken the form of Srimati Radharani because he was so absorbed in the feelings of Radharani, as how Radharani feel for Krishna. He heard his own qualities and he was hearing about Vrindavan Dham and he got so much into it that he accepted or he manifested that beautiful form of Srimati Radharani. And when Nityanand Prabhu saw him, Nityananda dure dekhi kori lena stuti. So from a far distance place, actually Nityanand Prabhu saw him and he offered prayers to him. So he did not go close to Srimati Radharani. He did not wanted to disturb his ecstasy. He offered obeisances from a distance. नित्यानंद देखिया प्रभुर भायवावेशा निकटे न आइसे रहे किछु दूर देशा. Seeing the ecstatic love of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu did not approach but remained a little distance away. नित्यानंद वीना प्रभु के धरे कुंजना प्रभुर आवेश नयाया ना रहे कीर्तना. So actually, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would be completely ecstatic, absorbed in ecstasy, then it was Nityanand Prabhu's seva to stop him from further kirtan, and he would remind him to come to his external consciousness, and he would, because he would be very concerned about Mahaprabhu's body getting fatigued. But this time, because he was in the form of Srimati Radharani, Nityanand Prabhu was staying away, a little distance from him. So who could stop him? Nobody could stop him. Only Nityanand Prabhu could catch Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but the ecstatic mood of the Lord would not stop. At the same time, Kirtan could not be continued. Not because Mahaprabhu was tired, but because everybody else was very, very tired. भंगी करी स्वरूप सबार श्याम जानाइला भक्त गाणेर श्याम देखी प्रभुर बाह्य हईला. Swarup Damodar then informed the Lord that all the devotees were fatigued. Seeing this situation, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to his external senses. So when Swarup Damodar informed him, okay, not in your name, but everybody else is tired, exhausted. So then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to his external senses. So actually something similar would happen in Vrindavan also, that when the cowherd boys would feel that Krishna should eat and Krishna would be hungry and he has not eaten, so they would remind Krishna that we are hungry. So because then Krishna will listen to them. If they will tell Krishna, you would be hungry, you eat something, Krishna would not bother so much. So similarly here also, Swarup Damodar goes and tells that devotees are fatigued, and then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to his external senses. Sab bhakt lana prabhu gela pushpo dhyane Vishrama kariya koila madhya nikasnane. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then entered the flower garden with all his devotees. After resting there for some time, he took his afternoon bath. Jagannath Prasad aila bahu pahara Lakshmira Prasad aila vividha prakara. Then there arrived in large quantities a variety of food that had been offered to Sri Jagannath and a variety that had been offered to the goddess of fortune. So isn't that amazing? Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's associates and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself singing, dancing, katha and kripa in the form of prasad. So eating, singing, dancing, absorbed in transcendental ecstasy. Sabala nana range korila bhojana Sandhya snana kori koila Jagannath darshana. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu finished his afternoon lunch, and after his evening bath, he went to see Lord Jagannath. Jagannath dekhi kore nanartan kirtana Narendra jal krida kare lana bhakta gana. As soon as he saw Lord Jagannath, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began to chant and dance. Afterward, accompanied by his devotees, the Lord enjoyed sporting in the lake called Narendra Sarovar. So this lake is still there in Sri Dham Puri. So if we visit Jagannath Puri, we should visit this Narendra Sarovar also, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and all his devotees have personally taken baths. So the same water, the same dust, that same lake, it's still there. Udyane asiya koila van bhojana E mata krida koila prabhu ashtadina. Then entering the flower garden, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took his meal. In this way, he continuously performed all kinds of pastimes for 8 days. So as we have discussed that this Jagannath in his chariot comes to Gundicha and stays there for 8 days. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was doing such type of pastimes, kirtan, bhajans, water pastime, discussion with his devotees for these 8 days. And then the next section, Jagannath's silk robe breaks during the return Pandu Vijay. आरदिने जगन्नाथेर भीतर विजया रथे छाड़ी जगन्नाथ चले निजालया. The next day, Lord Jagannath came out from the temple and riding on the car returned to his own abode. पूर्ववत कैला प्रभु लन भक्त गणा परम आनंदे करेना नर्तन कीर्तना. As previously, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his devotees chanted and danced with great pleasure. So now this is the time for the return Rath Yatra. Jagannath is going back to his palace, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and all his devotees, like how they were singing and dancing when the Rath Yatra was coming, similarly they accompanied with great joy and happiness. जगन्नाथेर पुनः पांडु विजय होइला एक गुटी पट्ट डोरी ताहा टूटी गेला. During the Pandu Vijay, Lord Jagannath was carried, and while he was being carried, a bunch of silken ropes broke. So if we remember that there were these cotton pads and Jagannath was carried on one to other, he was actually tied and he was carried. So one of these ropes which was holding Jagannath, it actually broke. Pandu Vijaye Ratuli Fati Futi Yaya Jagannather Bhare Tula Udiya Palaya. When the Jagannath deity is carried, at intervals he is placed on cotton pads. When the ropes broke, the cotton pads also broke due to the weight of Lord Jagannath, and the cotton floated in the air. Kulin Gram Ramananda Satyaraj Khana Tanre Agya Dila Prabhu Koriya Sammana. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, among his various associates, there were these two devotees, Ramananda Vasu and Satyaraj Khan, and they belonged to this village called Kulin Gram. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu calls them, and with great respect, he gave them this particular order. Ei patta dorir tumi hayo yajamana prativatsarani vadori koriya nirmana. So actually Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was a little disappointed because the rope broke. So what instruction he is giving them? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ordered Ramananda Vasu and Satyaraj Khan to become the worshippers of these ropes and every year bring silken ropes from their village. So Kulin Gram, this entire village was given this opportunity to make these ropes which would carry Lord Jagannath. So this was the instruction which he gave to Ramananda Vasu and Satyaraj Khan. So this is not that, this is Ramananda Vasu. Eta boli dila tanre chenda patta dori iha dekhi kari be dori ati dridha ja kari. Ati dridha kari. Dridha means strong. So make stronger ropes. After telling them this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed them the broken silken ropes, saying, just look at this sample. You must make ropes that are much stronger. Ei patta dori te hai shesha adhisthana dasha murti hana ye ho seve bhagavana. So here Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is emphasizing the importance of this rope. He says that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then informed Ramananda Vasu and Satyaraj Khan that this rope was the abode of Lord Shesh, who expands himself into 10 forms and serves the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this we have discussed already in Adi Leela about the expansions of the Lord. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is referring that, see, this rope is so important. This is the abode of Lord Shesha. Bhagyavan Satya Raja Vasuramananda Seva Agya Pana Hoila Param Ananda. Param Ananda. They were extremely happy. So after receiving orders from Lord, for the rendering of service, the fortunate Satyaraj and Ramananda Vasu were highly pleased. Prativatsar Gundi Chate Bhakt Gana Sange patta dori lana aise ati bad range. Every year thereafter, when the Gundicha temple was being cleansed, Satyaraj and Ramananda Vasu would come with the other devotees and with great pleasure bring silk and rope. So this is how, with instruction, we receive empowerment to do a service, and we also receive mercy if we are able to do that service nicely. Tobe Jagannath yai vasila simhasane Mahaprabhu ghare aila lana bhakta gane. Thus Lord Jagannath returned to his temple and sat on his throne while Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu returned to his residence with his devotees. So Lord Jagannath finally reaches back to his temple and he is adorning that beautiful asana. Hey mat bhakta gane yatra dekhaila Bhakta gana lana vrindavana keli koila. Thus, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed the Rath Yatra ceremony to his devotees and performed the Vrindavan pastimes with them. So this was the peak preview in Vrindavan, and all the devotees of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually were in Vrindavan consciousness, were in Vrindavan completely absorbed there for these 8 days of Rath Yatra. Chaitanya Gosair Leela Ananta Apara Sahasravadana Yara Nahi Paya Para. The pastimes of Lord Chaitanya are unlimited and endless. Even Sahasravadan, Lord Shesh, cannot reach the limits of his pastime. So there are unlimited pastimes of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu with unlimited devotees, unlimited reciprocation, unlimited mercy, unlimited blessings, unlimited orders. So who has the capacity to describe all of them? Shri Rupa Raghunatha Padayara Asha Chaitanya Charitamrta Kahe Krishna Dasa. Praying at the lotus feet of Shri Rupa and Shri Raghunath, always desiring their mercy, I, Krishnadas, narrate Sri Chaitanya Charitamrta following in their footsteps. And similarly, Sukirti Madhvi here, seeking the blessings of the Guru Parampara, Srila Prabhupada, and all the Acharyas to describe yet another chapter of Chaitanya Charitamrta, getting into chapter 15. The Lord accepts Prasādam at the house of Sārvabhauma Bhattacharya. So this is the 15th chapter from the Madhya Lila. Now this is a pretty long, fairly long chapter with 302 verses. The more the merrier, the more the better, the more the sweeter. So here we see Krishna willing, we would be covering the first 2 sections today. Verse number 1 to 15, Lord Chaitanya's activities at Puri. And 16 to 36, the devotees celebrate various festivals. So getting into the first section, Lord Chaitanya's activities at Sri Dham, Jagannath Puri. Sārvabhauma grihe bhunjan svanindakam amoghakam angi kurvan sfutam chakre gaurah swam bhakta vasyatam. While Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was taking Prasādam at the house of Sārvabhauma Bhattacharya, Amogh criticized him. Still the Lord accepted Amogha, thereby showing how much he was obliged to his devotees. So we will read this pastime in detail. In short, what has happened is Sārvabhauma Bhattacharya had invited Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for Prasādam. And when he started honoring Prasādam, his son-in-law Amogh, he was quite offensive and he started criticizing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we will see how that pastimes unfolds and how beautifully Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu forgives him. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. All glories to Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. All glories to Lord Nityananda Prabhu. All glories to Advaita Chandra, and all glories to all the devotees of Lord Chaitanya. Jaya Shri Chaitanya Charitamrta Shrota Gana Chaitanya Charitamrta Yanra Pranadhana. So this is beautiful. This is amazing. the author is offering obeisances to all the listeners of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrta. So all of you who are here, who are listening to this rendition of Chaitanya Charitamrta, actually Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Maharaj is offering his obeisances, and he's saying all glories, they are all glorious who have accepted Chaitanya Charitamrta as their life and soul. Ei mat Mahaprabhu Bhakta Gana Sange Neela chale rahi kare nritya gita range. While Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stayed at Jagannath Puri, he constantly enjoyed chanting and dancing with his devotees. So this place, Jagannath temple, this is known as Neelachal. And if you remember Gundicha, we were discussing that was Sundarachal. So now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is in Neelachal because Jagannath is in Neelachal and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is enjoying pastimes of chanting and dancing. Prathamavasare Jagannath darshana Nritya Gita kare danda paranam stavana. In the beginning of the day, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw the deity of Lord Jagannath in the temple. He offered him obeisances and prayers and danced and sang before him. So every day in the morning, at the beginning, the first thing what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would do is go and have darshan of Lord Jagannath. He would offer obeisances, prayers, and dance and sing for his pleasure. Upal bhog lagile kore bahire Vijaya Haridasa mili aise apana nilaya. After visiting the temple, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would remain outside during the Upal Bhog offering. He would then go meet Haridas Thakur and return to his residence. So every day, this was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's routine. That morning, first thing, he will go to see Lord Jagannath. He would offer him respects. He will sing and dance. And then when the Bhog offering would be going on, he would stand, he would wait there. And then he would have darshan near the Garud Stambh. So from there, he would take darshan of Jagannath. And after Jagannath's darshan, he would go to see Haridas. Ghare vasi kare Prabhu naam sankirtana Advaita asiya kare Prabhura pujana. Sitting in his room, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would chant on his beads, and Advaita Prabhu would come there to worship the Lord. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is demonstrating, he has actually, this incarnation is specifically appeared to teach us the intricacies of Bhakti Yoga. So Lord comes as a teacher and he is demonstrating by personally chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And how he is chanting, Mahaprabhu has his beads. So like we all have beads, so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself would chant on the beads. And when Mahaprabhu would chant around some time, Advait Acharya would come there to offer his worship and respect. Sugandhi solile dena padya achmana sarvangele paye prabhur sugandhi chandana. While worshipping Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Advaita Acharya would offer him scented water to wash his mouth and feet. Then Advaita Acharya would smear very fragrant sandalwood pulp all over his body. So this is how Advaita Acharya would personally worship. So just like now we get an opportunity to do the deity worship. So for the deities, we do that, like we apply chandan, we offer water. So here Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was personally present and Advaita Acharya could offer directly to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Gale mala dena mathaye tulasi manjari Yoda hate stuti kare pade namaskari. Sri Advaita Prabhu would also place a flower garland around the Lord's neck and tulsi flowers on his head. Then, with folded hands, Advaita Acharya would offer obeisances and prayers unto the Lord. So he would offer this garland and tulsi manjari. So manjari are those tiny little flowers of Tulsi Maharani. So he would make he would offer the garland around the neck and these Tulsi flowers on his head. And then with folded hands, he would offer prayers. Puja patre pushpa tulsi shesha ye achila Sei sabalana Prabhu Acharya Pujila. Now, this is something very interesting. Whatever is shesh, the paraphernalia, the leftover paraphernalia. So, puja patra, in the paraphernalia, in the dish, whatever is left, like tulasi, pushpis, flowers, so whatever is left, what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would do with that? Sei sabalana Prabhu Acharya Pujila. So, Acharya Thakur was worshipping him. And now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is worshipping Advaita Acharya. So after being worshipped by Advaita Acharya, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would take the dish containing flowers and tulsi and with whatever paraphernalia remained, worship Advaita Acharya. So this is such a sweet reciprocation of Lord's love and worship to Advaita Acharya. If we remember, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually appeared on the calls on the worship of Advaita Acharya. So Advaita Acharya has been worshipping him even before, since he manifested, and after coming here, he would worship Advaita Acharya. Yosi sosi namostute mantra pade mukh vadyakari prabhu hasaye acharye. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would worship Advaita Acharya by chanting the mantra, whatever you are, but I offer my respects unto you. Yosi sosi namostute. So whoever you are, whatever you are, that I'm not discussing, but I'm offering my respects to you. In addition, the Lord would make some sounds within his mouth that would make Advaita Acharya laugh. Ei mata anyonye kare na namaskara Prabhu re nimantran kare Acharya bar bar. In this way, Advaita Acharya and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would offer their respectful obeisances unto each other. Then Advaita Acharya would extend an invitation to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu again and again. So this is the loving reciprocation. Lord wants to serve his devotees and devotees wants to serve the Lord, and there is constant competition about that. Acharya Rani Mantrana Ashcharya Kathana Vistari Varniya Chena Das Vrindavana. Indeed, Sri Advaita Acharya's invitation is another wonderful story. It has been very vividly described by Vrindavan Das Thakur. So this description comes in detail in Chaitanya Bhagavat. Punarukti hayataha na kailu varnana Ar bhakta gana kare prabhu re nimantrana. Since Advaita Acharya's invitation has been described by Vrindavan Das Thakur, I shall not repeat the story, but I shall say that other devotees also extended invitations to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So all the devotees, especially those who had come from West Bengal, they would be very eager to host Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to invite Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for Prasādam. Eka eka dina eka bhakta grihe mahotsav Prabhu sange taha bhojan kare bhakta sabha. Day after day, one devotee after another would invite Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the other devotees to lunch and would also hold a festival. So getting into the next section, the devotees celebrates various festivals. So here we discussed in the previous verse, as they will not only invite Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they will organize certain festivals also. So whoever was inviting would hold a festival. So what are these festivals? Let's look into this section. Chari mas rohila sobe Mahaprabhu sange Jagannather nana yatra dekhe maharange. All the devotees remained at Jagannath Puri for 4 continuous months, and they observed all Lord Jagannath's festivals with great pleasure. So all the devotees were there and they enjoyed various festivals. Krishna Janma Yatra Dine Nanda Mahotsava Gopa Vesha Hoila Prabhu Lana Bhakta Sabha. Now these 4 months of Chaturmas, they are actually full of various festivals. So apart from Jagannath Rath Yatra, there are many other important and significant festivals like this one. So here it's a mention of Krishna Janmashtami. So Nanda Mahotsav. So what festival is that and how they are celebrating? The devotees celebrated the festival of Janmashtami, Krishna's birthday, which is also called Nanda Mahotsav, the festival of Nanda Maharaj. At that time, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his devotees dressed themselves as cowherd boys. So they all were dressed up as cowherd boys for this festival. Having dressed up like cowherd boys, all the devotees carried pots of milk and yogurt balanced on rods over their shoulder. Thus they all arrived at the festival ground chanting the holy name of Hari, 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 Hari. So they were all carrying this stick and this pot, and holding that pot, they all arrived for the festival, dressed up. So that was the theme. So like we have these theme birthday parties. So here was the theme festival. So the theme was the Gopas. So everyone was dressed as the Gopas and they were celebrating Janmashtami. Kanani khutiya ache nanda vesha dhari Jagannath mahati hana che navrajeshwari. Kanini Khutiya dressed himself like Nanda Maharaj, and Jagannath Mahiti dressed himself as Mother Yashoda. So they all took different roles. Apane pratap rudra ar mishra kashi Sārvabhauma ar padi cha patre tulsi. At that time, King Pratap Rudra was also personally present with Kashi Mishra, Sārvabhauma Bhattacharya, and Tulasi Padicha Patra. So these devotees were also present there witnessing these fun pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Iha sabalana prabhu kore nritya ranga dadhi dugdha haridra jale bhare sabaranga. As usual, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu danced jubilantly. Everyone was covered with milk, yogurt, and yellow turmeric water. Actually, there is nothing as beautiful as observing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu dance. Just by the description, just by reading Chaitanya Charitamrta, and when we hear how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu dances, our heart starts to dance. So imagine how wonderful that sight would be when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is personally dancing with hundreds and thousands of devotees. And here they were, seems that they were playing Holi also simultaneously because they were all covered with milk, yogurt, and yellow turmeric water. Advait kahe satya kahi na koriha kopa lagoda firaite para tabe jani gopa. At this time, Srila Advaita Acharya said, please do not be angry. I speak the truth. Satya kahi. I am speaking the truth. Na kariha ko. Gussa nahi hona. Don't get angry. What is he saying? I shall know that you are a cowherd boy only if you can wheel this rod about. So these cowherd boys, one of their antique, their play was like there would be a rod and whirling the rod around. So Advaita Acharya said, don't mind. But if you're really a cowherd boy, wheel this around and show me. Tabela gurlana prabhu firaite lagila bar bar akash pheli luphiya dhorila. Accepting Advaita Acharya's challenge, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took a big rod and began to wheel it around and around. Again and again, he threw rod into the sky and caught it when it fell. And then again, he would like swirl it, throw it, catch it, swirl, throw, catch, like that he demonstrated. Shirera upara prishthe sammukh dui pashe pad madhya firaye lagur dekhi lok hase. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wheeled and threw the rod, sometimes over his head, sometimes behind his back, sometimes in his front, sometimes to his side, sometimes between his leg. All the people laughed to see this. So how he was juggling with this rod, like we would have seen some performance during Olympics and all. So how they keep twirling and twisting. So here Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I mean, people were amazed. They were startled and they were so happy to see what Mahaprabhu was performing. Alata chakrera praya lagoda firaya dekhi sarva loka chitte chamatkar paya. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu whirled the rod in a circle like a fire band, the heart of everyone who saw it was astonished. So he was doing it so fast, it appeared like a fire band. Ei mat nityananda firaya laguda ke bujhibe taha duhar gopa bhava gudha. Nityanand Prabhu also played at whirling the rod. Who can understand how they were ecstatically immersed in the deep emotions of the cowherd boys? So they actually became cowherd boys. They are actually cowherd boys, and they were just manifesting that form, that swarupa here. प्रताप रुद्रेरा आज्ञा पड़िछा तुलसी जगन्नाथेर प्रसाद वस्त्र एकलाना आसी. Following the orders of Maharaj Pratap Rudra, the temple superintendent named Tulasi brought one of Lord Jagannath's used cloths. So the used cloths of the deities, we call it as Maha Prasad. So it's a Maha Prasad, a Maha Prasad cloth garment of the deity. So in ISKCON temples also, generally when somebody does very wonderful services, somebody performs very nice, or someone gives very nice donation, etc. So we sort of appreciate him or reciprocate with him by giving him some Maha cloth. So here it is mentioned that Lord Jagannath's used cloths or Maha cloth was brought and gifted to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. बहुमूल्य वस्त्र प्रभु मस्तके बंधिला आचार्यादि प्रभुर गणे रे पराइला. This valuable cloth was wrapped around the head of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The other devotees headed by Advaita Acharya also had cloths wrapped about their heads. So now they are getting into full-fledged Gopa forms. So Gopas, as we have seen, that they tie this something sort of a turban and tie it here. So like that, they all tied cloths around their head. Kanani khutiya Jagannath dui jana aveshe vilaila ghare chilayat dhana. In ecstasy, Kanini Khutiya, who was dressed as Nanda Maharaj, and Jagannath Mahiti, who was dressed as Mother Yashoda, distributed all the riches they had stocked at home. So whatever money they have, whatever riches they had, they distributed off to the common people. Why? Because Nand ke Anand Bhayo Jai Kanhaiya Lal ki. Kanhaiya Lal has appeared. Janmashtami festival. They are in the role of Yashoda and Nand. So just like how Nanda Baba and Yashoda Maya gave of charity, whatever they had. So similarly, these two devotees, they were so absorbed in that rasa, in that pastime, that they actually believed that they are Nanda and Yashoda, and they felt that joy within, and whatever they had, they distributed in charity. देखी महाप्रभु बड़ा संतोष पाइला माता पिता ज्ञाने दून्हे नमस्कार कैला. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was greatly satisfied to see this. Accepting them as his father and mother, he offered them obeisances. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it was so pleasing to his heart to see the devotees. For these devotees, it became reality. So it was the reality of these devotees who were enacting as Nanda and Yashoda, and because that became their reality, so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also accepted them as his parents. Parama aveshe Prabhu aila nij ghara ei mata lila kore gauranga sundara. In great ecstasy, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu returned to his residence. In this way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, known as Gauranga Sundar, performed various pastimes. Vijay Dashami Lanka Vijayera Dine Vanara Sainya Kaila Prabhulana Bhakta Gane. So now Rath Yatra generally happens in the month of July, June end or July sometimes. Then August comes Janmashtami, which we saw just now. And then in September end or October sometime comes Dashahara or Vijay Dashami. So even till now, all the residents of West Bengal are still there because they have come for 4 months. So various festivals they are celebrating, and now we will see how they celebrate Dashahara. So on the day celebrating the conquest of Lanka, a day known as Vijay Dashami, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu dressed up all his devotees as monkey soldiers. So they all got in the mood of those monkey sena, Vanar sena. Hanuman aveshe Prabhu vriksha shakha lana Lanka gade chadi phele gada bhan kiya. Mahaprabhu himself was exhibiting the form, the mood, the ecstasy of Sri Hanumanji. So, displaying the emotions of Hanuman, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took up a large tree branch and, mounting the walls of the Lanka fort, began to dismantle it. कहना रे रावण प्रभु कहे क्रोधावेशे जगन माता हरे पापी मारी मूसा वंशे. कहाँ रे Ravan? Where is that rascal Ravan? Prabhu kahe krodha veshe. He is very angry. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is very angry. Why is he angry? He is Hanuman now. So he is very angry, and in his anger he is shouting, where is this Ravan? Jagan Mata Hare Papi. He has done what? He has kidnapped Jagan Mata. He has kidnapped the universal mother. And what will I do? Marimu Savamshe. I will kill him and all his family. Sārvabhauma. I'll destroy his entire vamsh. Where is he? Gosai Ravesha dekhi loke chamatkara sarvaloka jaya jaya bale bara bara. Everyone became very much astonished to see the emotional ecstasy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and everyone began to chant all glories, Jai, Jai, again and again. I'm sure all of us are also feeling this. I mean, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is in the mood of Hanuman, and he has reached Lanka and he's searching Ravan, and he's determined to kill him and his entire dynasty. Ei mat rasa yatra ar Deepavali उत्थान द्वादशी यात्रा देखिला सकली. So A matra, इसी प्रकार से, like this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his devotees participated in all the festivals, including Rasa Yatra. So Rasa Yatra is when Lord Krishna does Maharas Leela, Diwali and Uttan Dwadashi. So all these festivals they would celebrate together. So whichever was the festival, that would become their theme, and they would perform that. So the next section, we will take few verses from this section and then we will stop. So Lord Chaitanya's talk with the departing Bengal devotees. Ek din Mahaprabhu Nityananda lana Dui bhai yukti koila nibrite vasiya. One day, the two brothers, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu, consulted with each other while sitting together in a solitary place. So Nityananda and Chaitanya had some deep confidential talks. Kiba yukti koila duhe keha nahi jane phale anumana pache koila bhakta gane. No one could understand what the brothers discussed between themselves, but later all the devotees could guess what the subject matter was. So later we will see what they guessed, but as of now, nobody could understand what these two brothers spoke in confidence. Tabe Mahaprabhu saba bhakte bolaila Gauda deshe yaha sabe vidaya korila. So 4 months have passed. They have left their home, they have left their businesses, their work, whatever they had, and they have come here, and they were absolutely having ecstatic, emotional time with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu calls them and tells them to return. Thereafter, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu called for all the devotees and asked them to return to Bengal. In this way, he bade farewell to them. Sabare kohila Prabhu pratyabda asiya Gundicha dekhiya yabe amare miliya. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is giving this specific instruction. He is telling everybody to come every year. Pratiyabda asiya. Asiya means come. So bidding farewell to all the devotees, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu requested them to return to Jagannath Puri every year to see him, and then see the cleansing of the Gundicha temple. So right from that time, you must come here. We will clean Gundicha. We will take Rath Yatra. We'll make all arrangements, and we will have all festival celebration together. Acharya Ragya Dila Koriya Sammana Achandala Adi Krishna Bhakti Diyodana. With great respect, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu requested Advaita Acharya, give Krishna consciousness, devotion to Krishna, even to the lowest of men or chandalas. So chandalas are described as those people who are actually dog eaters. So dog eaters are considered to be the lowest of all. So it does not refer only to the caste, but about the activity. So those who have no discrimination, those who can fall or stoop so low that they eat dogs, so they are kept in the category of Chandala. So interesting thing is that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is giving this instruction to Advaita Acharya to give devotion to Krishna. So devotion to Krishna, the bhakti, the process of bhakti yoga, which we know is the topmost, that can be given to the bottommost person also. So that is the beauty of bhakti yoga, that there is no qualification required. And here we see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is directly instructing. So sometimes like people ask us that can a meat eater chant Hare Krishna? Can a meat eater visit the temple? So things like that. So here is the direct instruction. Anyone and everyone can take to the process of Krishna consciousness. And when we take to this process, then we start rising up in our consciousness. Nityanande agya dila yaha gauda deshe anargala prema bhakti kariha prakashe. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ordered Nityananda Prabhu, go to Bengal and without restriction manifest devotional service to Lord Krishna consciousness. So give this Krishna consciousness without any restriction. So he is giving one whole area of Bengal to Nityananda Prabhu. He's telling that because I have moved here to Odisha, so I cannot preach in Bengal anymore. So you go to Bengal and on my behalf, preach to every single soul about this message of Krishna consciousness. Ramadas Gadadhara Adi Kata Jane Tomar Sahaya Lagi Dilu Tomar Sane. Nityanand Prabhu was given assistants like Ramadas, Gadadhar Das, and several others. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, I give them to you to assist. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not only sending Nityanand Prabhu all alone, he is giving him a team of preachers. So he's telling that these devotees, who are those Ramadas, Gadadhar, and many, many more, they will be assisting you in this preaching in Bengal. Madhya Madhya Ami Tomar Nikat Yaiba Alakshite Rahi Tomar Nritya Dekhiba. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, I shall also go to see you at intervals, keeping myself invisible. I shall watch you dance. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying that you go and I will come to see you, but you focus on preaching in Bengal. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So with this, we conclude our today's session of Chaitanya Charitamrta. I would be eagerly waiting for your comments because today's was a very, very, all these sessions are very sweet, and today was again a very sweet section which we read. So I would love to read what all your learnings are. So thank you all very much. Hare Krishna.